Welcome back to Case Closed Anime Review, episode number 11. This is reviewing the 11th season of Case Closed, which lasted for 30 episodes. Yeah, it took me a little while to get through the season. I thought maybe because I was really pushing it, that my finish is like roughly a couple days ago. That's what I was hoping, anyways. But stuff kept getting in the way the past few days, me going out frequently, so I wasn't able to finish episode just now. Yep. This season is roughly adapted from chapters 350 354 and 358 to 386. Yeah, it covers like a lot of chapters in the manga. Like a good almost almost 37 chapters, which seems like pretty much. Yeah. Being this was 30 episodes, it started from episode 286 and wrapped up with episode of this particular season. Episodes were, in fact, and they thank you. They were episodes number 294 to 300, 303, 314 to 315. That's it. Not many filler episodes a season. Oh no, like 7, 8, 9, yeah, roughly. So not even close to half of the season. Basically, the season was mostly canon and a little bit of filler. Scene starts out with a three-parter with Jimmy's first case, Jimmy's New York case, which this takes place chronologically in the series timeline, in accordance to flashbacks, right after, I'd say less than like a day after his first case on when he saw murder on a plane. Yeah, this one involved a a actor getting killed on stage while wearing a angel suit. Yeah, and the person responsible for his death, believe it or not, was actually an actress who apparently was in love with his character and not in love with the actor for some reason. And she killed him by shooting him while he was being raised up through a trap door. Yeah, through a trap door. As for why, and apparently no one knew about the trap door at all, and then he was being raised up via a platform. Then he's brought up and then he's shot while he's coming up. And of course, we also see Jimmy's mother there too, and there's even a joke that she's telling the actress, "Hey, this girl may be my future daughter-in-law," which that might be, but who knows? It all depends upon the writer, which it might be the case due to the fact Jimmy is in love with her. Yep. They also ran into a serial killer. They also ran into the character Vermouth from the Black Organization, who was technically the first person that Jimmy encountered before he encountered Jin and Baka. Yeah, he encountered these two a year after this particular incident. Yep. And there's other case now. Vermouth herself, she actually disappears partway through the story, and because she couldn't stay for the play, that so. Oh yeah, and apparently this play is called The Golden Apple, where it's a musical. It's a modern day musical take on the classic Golden Apple story from Greek mythology, where you have this one god basically trying to declare these three women, Hera, Aphrodite, and Eris, basically who's the most beautiful one. Yeah, and this has been loosely adapted to modern day a couple times, like roughly in this three-parter, and of course in a comic book known as Athena. Yes, Athena. I've heard about. I've never read it, but I've seen reviews of it. Where, in the case of the first issue of the series, the artist was more concerned with showing off her rear end than telling a good story. Yeah, that's simply to just show for it. It's a really good three-parter and does also have goes briefly go to modern day, the present day where Ren's on the way to hospital. Now I'm thinking though, okay, Ren's going to hospital for this and she collapsed. Why wouldn't they call her mother? Seriously. I'm sure Conan probably has a number and she probably would be easily to the hospital. Nope. No appearance by Rachel's mother. Nope. But this was a really good three-part throughout the season. And you have a two-parter known as, well, its title is Michio in the Forest of Indecision. Yeah, this is a two-parter which involved the return of a character from Harley's third appearance in the series, a serial killer. Yeah, he comes back. It's all involving fireflies, and the reason why Mitch skipped town is because he wanted to have this stuff for Amy and Anita, which they were surprised about, but they were happy the fact got a chance to see this. Of course, Mitch himself basically had to be sort of chastised not only by the Junior Detective League, but probably by his own sister, who just appears in this episode. hmm It's an okay two-parter, nothing much I know about. And there are three-parter known as Saratoga Island of the Princess and the Dragon King Palace. Yeah, this is three-parter, which, from what I remember from the manga, this pretty much is the same. Not really much change here, but it is a really good three-parter. Yeah, it actually involves like three people getting murdered. Yeah, first is a girl who actually tanned her skin like dark, like a jungle girl. Yeah, and the whole thing involved like a previous thing before this island where the mayor's daughter disappeared and a golden screen also was stolen too, and a housekeeper was murdered in the past. Yeah, it turns out that a couple members of the crew were in fact members of that particular gang. Yep, and it was the big strong guy who actually was one of killing these people, and it turns out he was in fact the butler. Yeah, and apparently even though that this woman was kidnapped, her father refused to pay the ransom for some reason. As for why he couldn't pay the ransom, never explained in the show because the guy was never seen on the show at all. Not even this three-parter. It was an interesting little three-parter. I kind of like this. The whole thing is on one island. Oh yeah, Richard. The reason why the whole thing is happening, the reason on this island is because Richard and Harley are participating in a detective contest, like a TV special, who could be the best. And Harley solved the case pretty easily. And what did Richard do? He lost. Why? Because he spent the whole night drinking and basically smooching with women. That's pretty much what he did. hmm Yeah. Plus, you also see appearance by Kozo. Well, in the information Dutch version was Kristen. Yeah, she's Harley's childhood friend who he does go on a date with. He try to go on a date with, but sewed her up, then fire her along just to make up for that. Yeah, interesting little three-parter, which basically first was called Investigating, third was called Investigation, first the Murder, the Investigation, the Resolution. And we have another two-part, yeah, boatload, multi-part season. Yeah, this one is actually started the filler for this season. There were 294, 300. Yeah, this involves a tennis match. The reason why they're at a tennis match is because George won tickets to this thing to participate in it along with the Detective Boys. With Yeah, Anita does go along, but she's not exactly like participating in it. Oh yeah, and Serena and Rachel and Richard decided to tag along because, well, Serena paid for tickets. Why not? And involve a kidnapping and the fact that the winner of the tournament tried to take out the chairman of the committee, who also has to be a congressman. Okay, I would have thought though. I don't know if that's a term for Japanese politicians who are a member of their parliament. I don't know because I don't follow their politics. Yeah, and eventually this guy is found guilty of corruption and possibly killing his own secretary. Why he decided to do it, I have no idea. But it was an okay little two-parter. Yeah, and Remy kidnapped was basically not part of the main story. Yeah, it was just by sheer circumstance she ever find a cell phone, and it's supposed to go to this other person. Houseboat fishing shack. Yeah, a murder happening on this tiny little boat. How was this murder committed? Well, this murder was committed by having the killer take a fishing rod, of course, also covering, like having a chip over like a bucket full of bait, and land the fishing rod on this electrical wire and frying the guy. Basically trying to accident. Nope, it turns the guy fishing with him was the murderer. Wow. It was completely obvious, but it's an okay episode. Not much for homework for this one. Court of Confrontation followed to the previous season. Yeah, they do the whole thing of being involved with like, yeah, and you have Richard going to stand again. Though this time he's able, though he's not going to stand again this time like before. This time he's able to perform his sleeping Moore performance in a courtroom while being sitting next to his estranged wife. This was an interesting little two-parter and definitely really good. Yeah, and also the fact they couldn't exactly find enough evidence. Yeah. And why is this prosecutor only shows up for this confrontation? This third one, I have no idea. And then we have one more two-parter to close out the filler episodes, where it's called Karma Straight of Friendship Murder's Intent. Yeah. This one was quite an interesting one where a guy was killed via a rock and this tunnel thing if you can walk through underwater underneath this bridge. Now the thing is, stuff like this does exist in real life. I've been through one of them. Yeah, through a tunnel that actually exists from like in the I think it's Chesapeake Bay. We can actually go underneath the water via car, but not by walking. So this type of thing is real. And how the person was killed, being smashed overhead with a rock. Yep, that's how they killed him. I would have thought a small rock, like size of a hand. Nope. Let's go for a big mini boulder and just smash it on the head. Ugh. Yeah, and it turns out the reason why the guy was killed, the culprit revealed that guys was tried by his company. That's the reason why. Yep. Apparently he was a terrible person too. And we're finally back to a canon two-parter, which this is actually a really good one. Of course, this is actually followed up with a 2-hour episode, like right after this one. Involving a bombing and soccer team. Yeah, it turns out the bombing was just covered for a robbery, which they would solve really easily. Though this two-parter, all this served to do is to set up episode 304. A 2-hour episode, which was basically cut down. Take out the commercials, is roughly like an hour and a half. Yeah. Of course, you have Takagi being slapped by Saito for wearing disguise that looks very similar to a detective who was killed off like roughly 3 years prior to the events of the series. Yeah, that's not explained to that particular one. Then we have, you're probably thinking, okay, you probably have this particular episode come right after this one. Nope, we have to throw in a filler episode for some strange reason. Yeah, this filler episode really doesn't have a reason been here, but yeah. Yeah, and the purpose of this, okay, we have the victim who came back. Yeah, this is about the victim is an old lady found on a couch. And it turns out this woman was killed by the person on this couch next door neighbor. And the fact this couch was actually kept across the street, and they're taken to a recycle store. Okay, over here we call them restores, provided by Habitat for Humanity. Well, where I live anyways. I personally have never gotten a guy couch from them. My brother has. I haven't. Yeah, this is an odd one, and the reason the culprit killed this person? Money. That's the reason why. Then we have the awesome 2-hour episode, which sees more development of the budding romance between Togashi and Saito. At one point, like when they're trying to catch the bomber, like because the fact she's basically she's not in good stable state, in order to calm her down, Togashi slaps her. And she does it. She's not mad at him for doing that at all. Of course, he calls back to some words she said prior to this whole thing, and she's able to forgive him. And they almost kiss, and then Maguire shows up. Yep. But this is actually a really good 2-hour episode involving like a trying to blow up Tokyo Tower. Yeah, it's his radio tower. Looks like the Eiffel Tower. Yeah, probably by far at this point of the series, the best episode of the whole series at this point of the series. Heck, even the manga this was really good. Spread across nearly 10 chapters, which is one of the longest arcs of the whole series. Yep. And one of my personal favorite ones. Next one is more canon stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it's canon stuff for the next like 9 episodes after this one. Yep. Actually, like 8. Next one is called The Unseen Suspect. This one involved them meeting a friend of Richard's from middle school, mind you, and to talk about Rachel's mom, Ari, which is quite funny. And apparently these two have been bickering since the reason why these two had a thing for each other far back as kindergarten. Yeah, I kind of like this one. This was actually quite interesting, and the fact that the murder was actually his childhood friend's biological father. Yep. And of course, Rachel talked to Rachel talked to her mother later about the soy sauce incident, and she does remember it, surprisingly. And it's all about sauce on eggs. It's so funny. But it's a good development for Richard. Mhm. Next one is On the Trail of the Silent Witness. Once again, to be continued in part 2. Okay? But you see you there. Bye.